2024. There are separate roles for Christian men and women in marriage. All will stand before Him to account for our lives. Will each spouse stand before Jesus and be able to tell Him they were a faithful husband or wife? First, marriage is a covenant. From the beginning, God made them one flesh. Second, many people have violated the marriage covenant. The Lord has been a witness between you and the wife of your youth, which you have dealt treacherously. Yet she is your companion and your wife by covenant. But did He not make them one, having remnant of the Spirit? And why one? He seeks godly offspring. Therefore take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously with the wife of his youth. For the Lord God of Israel says that He hates divorce. Now this flies in the face of heretics who say marriage is just a contract and God is not involved. But God makes them one flesh. Third, Mary and Joseph were husband and wife at betrothal. Joseph was commanded not to divorce his wife. Again, marriage involves God, man, and woman. God makes them one flesh as husband and wife. Commands given to man. Man is not to divorce. He enters the marriage covenant by exchanging vows at betrothal. Second, God makes them one flesh, having remnant of the Spirit. He hates divorce. This is a marriage covenant, not like what many denominations teach. Third, only death of a spouse ends the marriage. Fourth, man is head of the household as Christ is head of man. Christ is head of the church, and children are submitted to parents. Fifth, man is commanded to love his wife as his own flesh. Sixth, man is to provide and take care of his family. 1 Timothy 5:8 reads, "If anyone does not provide for his own, especially those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." Again, man is not to divorce his wife and marry somebody else. This is adultery. Adulterers will not enter the kingdom. And a man who neglects his wife and family is worse than a non-believer. And there are many men in fornication and adulterous marriages who have abandoned families for new ones. And they attend church and are told they're on their way to heaven because the pastor told them so. Scriptures warn willful sinners will not inherit the kingdom. Hebrews 13:4 says, "Marriage is honorable among all, and the bed undefiled, but fornicators and adulterers God will judge." Now here are commandments given to women. 1 Timothy 2:15 reads, "She will be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with self-control." Women are to dress modestly, professing godliness with good works, in submission to husband as he is submitted to Christ. Again, men are commanded to love their wives as their own flesh. A wife who has separated from her husband is to reconcile or remain single. If she remarries someone else while her husband is still alive, she is an adulteress. If her husband dies, she is free to marry, but only in the Lord. Number 4, a widow who can remarry is not to marry a non-believer. Do not be yoked with a non-believer. Many women decide to dump husbands and run off with someone else. A church or a pastor gives them many excuses to do so. They too have children in fornication and adulterous marriage just like men, and they too neglect children. Will each spouse be able to stand before Jesus and tell him they were a good and faithful follower of His commands? Now here are some common excuses given by people. Number 1, my pastor says I'm saved, guaranteed. Number 2, I go to church. I grew up in church. My uncle or dad is a pastor. Number 3, if my pastor teaches wrong, it's his fault, not mine. Number 4, my pastor is on his second wife too. Number 5, my pastor sleeps around. See, Jesus refers everything back to the beginning. Marriage is a covenant. God makes a husband and wife one flesh. Those who break it and teach others to break it better look carefully at the Scriptures, because they warn many will perish. Please make the effort to study the Scriptures for yourself and follow Jesus. God bless.